Hi, I'm Tom Bradford, and in this video I'm going to show you how to apply for settled status and what you need to bear in mind if there's going to be a no deal. Just to answer the question in the title, essentially, if there is a no deal Brexit, you do need to apply for settled status. You need to apply either way, but in the case of a no deal Brexit, which seems increasingly likely with Boris Johnson now in office, there are some particular points you need to bear in mind. Before we get into the detail, I'm Tom Bradford. I'm a lawyer, and on this channel I show you how to reach abroad to access other jurisdictions, and in this case how to stay if you're an EU national living in the UK. I've helped a number of clients with regularising their status, and the settled status application is actually subject of a separate video where I walk you through exactly how to apply, so you can get that on my channel, and it's in the playlist below. Now, what you particularly need to bear in mind with a no deal is this, and I've basically set out in this diagram. You can see I've got the deal scenario and dates up at the top, and I've got the no deal scenario at the bottom, so I can show you the differences. It's not without complexity, I must say, and I completely understand why certain people can be confused. I certainly receive a lot of inquiries about these topics. So look, let's just go over the overview if there's a deal. So what the government says is that if you're an EU, EEA or Swiss citizen, you and your family can apply to the EU settlement scheme to continue living in the UK after 31st of June. Now there's a tacit threat in that, isn't there? But that if you don't apply, then you can't stay. That's the implication. If you don't make an application, then the government's position is that they'll take a tolerant and proportionate, as they put it, approach to your non-compliance. But nevertheless, you'll be in the country without permission after that date, so you would need to apply. As for when you can apply, the EU settlement scheme is open, has been for some time, and I think I made the first, or one of the first tutorials on exactly how to apply using the app. So that's the video that you can check out on this channel. It says the deadline for applying is the 30th of June 2021. So the deadline for a no deal is going to be different. We'll come to that in a minute. Which status you get depends on when you apply. So essentially, if you've been here for less than 5 years, been resident in the UK for less than 5 years, then you would apply for pre-settled status. If you have more than 5 years under your belt and you can prove it, then it would be settled status. Now, it says, so the deadline for applying is 30th of June 2021. If the UK leaves the EU without a deal, you will need to be living in the UK before it leaves the EU to apply, and the deadline for applying will be the 31st of December 2020. So let's just zoom out a bit. So the deal scenario, let's just zoom out. So here's the deal scenario. So we've got Brexit Day, likely 31st of October 2019, as it appears so far, unless Parliament finds some way to block it. But certainly the government is clear that the UK will leave the EU no later than that date. So you will not have to have been living in the UK before that date, but you'll need to have been living in the UK by the 31st of December. So you can see that by this illustration. So before 2021, you've got to have been living in the UK in order to be eligible to apply, and I've put here the deadline. So 30th of June 2021, that's the deadline for applying for settled or pre-settled status. So there'll be a bit of a gap here between 1st of January 2021 and effectively 1st of July 2021, but that the latter will be the deadline. Now, the position is different for a no deal, and let's go to that. Let's zoom out first so you can just see everything together. So if there's a no deal, you will need to have been living in the UK before Brexit Day. So let's just zoom in. you must have been living in the UK before Brexit Day, before the 31st of October 2019. And in fact, for a couple of clients, I assisted them when the deadline was the 29th of March for Brexit, and everyone was anticipating that would be the final, that would be Brexit Day. I did help clients to set up in the UK very quickly and get the requisite evidence of their residence, like a matter of weeks before the deadline. So I think your view on the political situation is maybe better than mine, but whether it's better or worse than mine, you need to be thinking now about residence planning if you're looking at setting up in the UK. If you're an EU national and you're looking to stay in the UK on a permanent basis, you need to be working towards the 31st of October as the date when you actually need to be resident in the UK in order to be able to apply for settled or pre-settled status. Now, I'll come to the alternative applications that you can make if you miss that deadline, if you like, for residency. So let's just see what the government has said about this. So it says resident EU citizens, as has previously been made clear, in the event of a no deal, EU citizens and their family members already resident in the UK by the 31st of October 2019 will be welcome to stay. In other words, those who aren't resident by that date may not be welcome to stay. It will depend on whether they get permission to be here or not. And they say we want them to do so. They are part of our community. So this mirrors the rhetoric of Theresa May a few months back. If there is no deal, they will have until 31st of December 2020 to apply to the EU settlement scheme to protect their status. So 31st of December 2020. So if we go to compare these deadlines, that deadline, let me just zoom out again. So that deadline here is basically the same deadline that you would have in the event of a deal for residents, but it's earlier than the the 30th of June 2021 deadline for applying for settled status if there is a deal. So it will happen, basically the deadline will be 6 months earlier. So you need to basically be here. Let's just zoom in. Be here, living here by Brexit Day, and then there'll be a transitional period. I know there's some, I think, language confusion between the implementation period references the deal scenario, but there is what the government has called in the government's guidance document on a no deal, a transition period, even in the event of a no deal, and you'll need to apply if you're an EU citizen for settled status by the 31st of December 2020, settled status or pre-settled status. Now, after that date, there'll be a new skills-based immigration system. So people arriving who are living in the UK post-Brexit Day will be subject to an interim system. I'll come to that in a minute. But then in the fullness of time from 2021, they'll be subject to a new skills-based system, and the government is still consulting about that. Now, as for the position in the interim, I've just set it out here. So if you start living in the UK after Brexit Day, so after October of this year, 2019, then you'll basically have you'll be able to come with visa-free access. It's envisaged for 3 months and stay for 3 months, and then but after that you'll need to make an application, and that will be using basically the same app, I understand, that is being used for pre-settled status and settled status. But you'll need to make an application for up to 36 months temporary leave to remain. So you stay here for 3 months automatically, but then you need to apply for permission after that, and that's granted for 36 months. Now that 36 months, so 3 years, would then take you into the period when there'll be a new skills-based immigration system. So that could take you, for example, up to about 2023, and then you'd make a new application if you wanted to stay from that date. So as for the details, before we deal with the future, let's just deal with the interim position after Brexit. So this is what the government says. EU citizens who wish to stay longer than 3 months will need to apply to the Home Office for leave to remain within 3 months of arrival. Subject to identity, criminality and security checks, leave to remain will be granted for 36 months, which will include permission to work and study. This will be non-extendable temporary leave. So those who wish to stay longer term will need to apply in due course under the future arrangements. Now that's really important. It's not extendable. So you're going to be a bit in the dark, really. You'll have that 3 years, but you won't know what the future system will be until some months into the future, probably at some point next year. But it may take even longer. And so again, there's a benefit to just being resident here before Brexit Day in a no-deal scenario. Let's just go back to this. There may be some who do not qualify under the new arrangements and who will need to leave the UK when their leave expires. So that's my point, really. You will not know if you're living in the UK post-Brexit Day and you get temporary leave to remain after the 3 months for 36 months, you will not know whether you'll be able to extend that. So it'll be an uncomfortable position of uncertainty, I think, because there'll be no legal certainty because the new immigration system won't have come into effect. So yeah. So let's just zoom out again and look at the future arrangements. So as for the details of the future skills-based immigration system, it'll take some time to implement the new system. It's important there's sufficient time. Temporary transitional arrangements will apply from the 31st of October 2019 to provide some continuity for EU citizens and businesses in the UK. This transition period will be in place until the 31st of December 2020. So as for the differences between deal and no deal for you as an EU citizen, if you're looking at applying for settled status, let's just zoom out. In a deal, you'd only need to be living in the UK by the 31st of December 2020, and you'd have a deadline of the 30th of June 2021 to apply. So you get additional time. But if there is a no deal, you need to be living in the UK before Brexit Day, and then you'll be in this transitional period during which you'll need to apply if you're apply for leave if you're staying for more than 3 months. You get 36 months temporary leave to remain. You won't know whether or not you'll be qualifying after that under the new skills-based immigration system. So yeah, I think that covers it all. I hope this was helpful, guys. Do leave any questions in the comments below or observations. If, as I say, if you do want to apply for settled or pre-settled status, just check out the video that I made. It walks you through exactly how to apply. I'll try and link it here, put an icon just over here, and also I will put it in the description below, and that takes you through step by step how to use the app and apply and get either settled or pre-settled status. Thanks very much, and I will see you in the next video.